now. Again, normally, we would be going up those stairs and into that area. But because we want to get a specific set of armor and a specific set of weapons for this character, I'm going to use my Master Key, which comes with this build, or this starting class, in order to bypass a few things. Let me think. What is the best way to do this? I could go up through the Undead Burg, through there. Or I could go that way. I think we will go through the Valley of the Drakes. It is shorter overall. This elevator leads down to a place called New Londo, which is a high-level area that is beyond us right now for a multitude of reasons, the biggest of which being that we lack the item that allows us to even hurt the creatures around here. We could easily get that item, but it's not really worth it. These hollows are just kind of hanging out. We'll leave them be. Down here, near the elevator there, is a hidden blacksmith who
Well, this is unusual.
works mostly with magical stuff.
How on earth? Well, I'm Rickett. I was once an established smith. Can you believe it?
I can. As you can see, he's wearing mage clothes and has locked himself in there. He appears to be holding... No, I think that's his cloak clipping through into his hands. But he's sitting in a sort of meditative position.
What is it? Have you? It's safe here. Can't bear the thought of going. Although, I must admit, I've not much to occupy myself. How about this? I could afford. I'll show you what may be the best.
And this is how you get into his option of doing things. You can see I have no weapons that I can ascend, which is what you do with a +5 weapon. Reinforcement is upgrading a weapon. We don't have any Titanite shards right now, though. Reinforced armor is the same thing, but with armor. Repair equipment is obviously repairing damaged equipment to prevent it from breaking. Purchase item. We can't buy or use any of these. And then talk.
What is it? There's nothing to talk about. We're both cursed, undead. But
Always exhaust dialogue options in a Souls game. So up here, around this way, is a locked gate that normally you would not be able to open. But as you can see with the Master Key, we can. And this is the Valley of the Drakes, an even more high-level area. Through there is a place called Blighttown, which, considering my frame rate isn't very good already, I am rather dreading. However, it is the location of the Uchigatana, a very good dex weapon which I've used multiple times and have done a very early game run, suicide run through up to get. But this time, we will be going this way, because in this direction is a shortcut through to a different area. Up there. This is a undead dragon. And this is a pathway that almost nobody sees. They're all way too busy trying to get past him. He's a strange-looking fella. About as purple as me, in some places. And simply not looking very good. He's got a cache of items there, but none of them are very much worth waking him up and possibly dying for. At least not for us. If we were a cleric, there's an Astora's straight sword, the same weapon that Oscar was wielding, down there too. Which would be useful, but we're not, so... Also over here is a small cave containing humanity. It's another thing people don't notice because they're too busy fighting the dragons or otherwise engaged. It's not very obvious either. It's kind of hidden in the wall. I don't know if we'll be able to do it because we'll be a bit busy with this friend. Oh, jeez. Well, there's our first death. Due to me not being able to see past the dragon and rolling like an idiot. Fast loads, though. That's a good thing. Let's do this quickly. Or as quickly as we can. One thing to watch out for when you're in a hurry is what's going to come up here. This elevator is not here. It's down at the bottom. You have to pull the switch in order to get it to come back up. A lot of people, I've seen it many times, they'll be in a rush and they'll run down in here thinking that there's an elevator here, and you're running quickly enough that you'll just go off the edge before you even notice it. Or that it's not here. What we're going to do this time, just in case, is we're going to step back here, and when the elevator gets down to the bottom, I'm going to run past and trigger it again to send it back up. That way, if we get sent back there, we don't have to trigger it a second time. It's a useful thing if you are doing a lot of runs to one area because you keep dying there. Ooh. I'll actually see if I can grab a weapon here real fast. I doubt I have the strength for it. Maybe if I use two hands. It is here. The Estoc. Another good dex weapon. I am lacking one strength, but I can use it two-handed, which I will. It is a rapier-type weapon with a lot of pokey-pokey attacks. It doesn't have bleed on it, but in reality, we don't really need bleed right now. If we were trying to do something like, say, get back to the... get back and fight some giant creature early in the game, then bleed is good. But for us, we're essentially just going to be running it. Clink, 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 clink. Better view of our dragon friend. See his head there. He may look dead, but he is merely napping. Alright. Let's try to do this a bit better this time. And I will, while we have a moment, unequip these, and instead equip this. There's a button here that allows you to zoom. Solve those. Or is it that? Which of these buttons is it? Maybe it's a stick? Oh well. Down there you can see a bridge, and that is our destination right there. It leads up there. There's an elevator in there. Over there is a giant door that actually leads back to the area of New Londo. Let's see about getting around this guy. Hopefully without throwing ourselves off a cliff again. Come on. Oh dear. Oh dearie dear. He turned into that one. Thought we could get past him. It was going poorly. Poorly for Peacewise the Bat. Let's try it one more time before we try the alternate path. Running around areas outside of your level range is always a dangerous thing to do, but... Oh, well, I'm here. You can see some areas here that you normally wouldn't be able to see. That down there, that horrible, reeking place of green and frame rate issues, is Blighttown, the entrance that I showed you earlier. You actually get on those giant buttresses there at one point, and then straight down in the muck. The tree-looking thing you can see over there, the branches of, is a tree that you get inside of and go to an area called the Great Hollow and then Ash Lake, which are completely optional areas, but some of the more interesting looking places in the game. Send that back up. Alright. We're gonna give you one more try. Do I have a different shield? Your lightning defense is better. So we will use you and just run past. The stock here actually looks fairly similar to the Baldur side sword. In fact, it's actually a little bit fatter. The Baldur side sword is a very strange looking weapon for what it is. It appears to be a rapier or even a different type of S-stock, but is actually a slashing sword, though it has a thrusting attack on its R2. We'll just run past this guy this time. It doesn't matter as long as you don't touch him, and we don't take damage from falling. Little damage, though it is. Alright. Let's try not to fuck it this time. Ah, good. I trapped on his wing a bit there, but I think we're good now. Famous last words. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Alright. In here is another elevator. So back up we go. While we're doing that, I'm going to quickly get rid of that. No reason to keep a shield on if you are going to two-hand the weapon. Minus a few shields, such as the Grass Crest shield, which will actually be grabbing real quick here. We'll rest here. Set it as our bonfire, of course. We can't warp between bonfires like you can in Dark Souls or Bloodborne. Oh my oh geez. That was a Black Knight. Luckily, we pop out right next to him. For him, it actually wouldn't be a bad idea. Let's try and beat him. For fun. We'll try a couple times, and then die a few times. It wouldn't... Which one of these? This one has the best physical block. We really should be dodging. Or parrying. Against Black Knights, I'm going to try and use this knife. Why? Because attacking them straight on is kind of a losing predicament. Let's get over here. Grab this real quick. Well darn. You are making my life very difficult, sir. Not helped by the fact that I keep pressing Y to heal. It's going to take me a while to unlearn that. Again, luckily, these loads are very fast. I am having a bit of a problem with the frame rate. There we go. That went better than it had any reason to go. Oop. This isn't good because each one of these drinks we take gets us nearer to our 5 limit for this. I'm going to try and lure you up here. Fighting you down there is a poor idea on my part. This is a better place. There we are. Did that kill you? Indeed it did. Good for me. A good shove off the edge is a good way to deal with a lot of these things. Let's grab my souls. What few I had, if any. The frame rate, as I said, is a bit of an issue here, especially with parrying. I'm gonna have to look into fixing that. I think what I'll do here is head for Havel the Rocket here. I'm going to do that because he drops his ring, and his ring is very useful. We'll see if I can manage it with the frame rate like it is. FromSoft ports are to PC are very terrible. This one in particular was kind of a botched mess. Here is Havel the Rock. He don't fuck around. And the only way for us to beat him at this point is to cheese the ever-living shit out of him. With repeated stabs to the spine. As you can see, though, he has a hell of a lot of health. And a lot of very good armor. Most NPCs are like this. They have a lot. They are not so smart, so they make up for it with a lot of health. My oh my. That could have gone very poorly. Havel pivots a lot, unfortunately. He's very good about aiming his shots, which means if you dodge a bit too early and get behind him, it's sometimes not always in your best interest. You really kind of just have to abuse these invincibility frames. I'm doing 63 damage when two-handing, 64 are 63 when one-handing, 64 when two-handing. No, 62. It's a whole 2 points of damage difference. That being because using things two-handed. Sorry for the stuttering. I'm a little bit focused. The reason for that is double-handing the knife essentially gives you 1/2 your strength bonus. Ooh boy. Huh. I took no damage there. Huh. Double-handing the knife gives you 1/2 of your strength, bonus strength. So say... Oh my. So say I had 10 strength. If I were to two-hand weapon, it would go from as though I was hitting with 10 strength to as though I were hitting with 15. That's why you can sometimes use weapons with one hand, or with two hands, but not with one. It's a good way to handle weapons that you're not quite strong enough for. Or to increase the damage of strength scaling weapons. But of course, my little knife here isn't strength scaling for shit. So, let's go up and talk to Andre real fast. Andre and his bonfire, and specifically the area around him, are the reason we're here. The bonfire... You don't appear to bleed, little lizard. So I'm just going to have to do this the hard way. There we are. The bonfire he's near will allow us to spawn near a bunch of Balder Knights. And Balder Knights are the things we're going to have to kill in order to, well, to get the stuff we need. He is also very near the... Dear. Forgot. I'm gonna have to run through here. These things don't take kindly to bleeding weapons because they don't bleed, being bushes. And past here with the thing called a roaming demon or a Titanite demon. He doesn't take kindly to anything. Least of all tiny knives. And we get up. This is Andre. Hello, Andre. Let's take a look at what you look like in this new high-definition version. You are kinda grody there. Look a little bit burnt. Are you doing okay, Andre?
Well, you must be a new arrival. I'm Andre of Astora. If you require smithing, then speak to me.
He allows you to purchase a lot of different things, as well as upgrading weapons. He is the place we will go for to upgrade our weapons, armor, and shield up to +5.
I'll be seeing.
And up here is his bonfire. Out this way is a man named Onion Knight. His name's escaping me for the moment. Sigmire of Katarina.
Oh, forgive me. I was absorbed in thought.
Looks like you're being absorbed into a marshmallow.
Quite honestly, I've run flat up against a wall, or a gate, I should say. The thing just won't budge, no matter how long I wait. And oh, have I waited. So here I sit.
An interesting form of conflict resolution, waiting until it goes away, also known as the possum method.
Still closed. Still closed.
Indeed. A man after my own gullet. Now let's go see... Well, first let's open up a shortcut down to Firelink Shrine. And let's go see the Balder Knights, who I will be fighting against for a long time off-screen. Oh dear, I do apologize about the frame rate here. I have to do something to fix that. It's embarrassing. I've got a computer that runs Dark Souls 2 just fine. Oh, thank you, sir. I don't know why this would give my computer such problems. Probably the aforementioned bad port problem. These are not the Boulder Knights. These are just random guys. And now they're just random corpses. The Boulder Knights are these fellows here in the capes. Their armor looks much better on them than it does on you, unfortunately. For some reason, the player doesn't get... I was hoping he would drop me a weapon on the first try. Unfortunately, the player doesn't get the physics behind the cape that they do. As you can tell from my own cape. My own little shoulder cape there. So we'll cross here. And we'll do a quick little run over into here, where we will aggro this fine gentleman. And then run back out here. Hello, sir. I could have sworn that was a backstab. That one too. My. I guess you can't be backstabbed. That's bad for me. I hope you can at least bleed. Oh dear. Oh jeez. You get me. There we are. Well, that does better damage. It'll have to do. Oh darn. We are not doing the good roll now. Darn. Excuse me again for a moment, sir. Good. That is the roll we want. Rolls are very important in this game. Oh dear. Rolls determine how many invincibility frames you have when you're dodging. And invincibility frames are the nectar by which the gods allow you to live. As you can see, oh, you bastard. Darn. Darn again. I feel substantially slower than I do in Bloodborne. It's hard to go back. It's hard to be fat. But I believe we will be able to beat him this time. Poke. And down we go. The first Titanite shard of many. Now what he was guarding, over this-a-way, is a Firekeeper Soul. An item invaluable, especially to me, with my limited number of potions to drink. Firekeeper Souls increase the healing properties of the Estus Flask. The more they put the Estus Flask to a +1, +2, etc. And each plus gives you more health for each drink. Normally, you don't have to worry too much. You always want to get a couple, but you can get through the game on a +3 easily. because by the end of the game you're getting 20 or so vial, or 20 or so flasks. However, for me, having only 5, it is very important that I manage to upgrade my Estus flask as much as humanly possible with this lovely woman down here. Her name is Anastasia Vestora, and she cannot talk because someone cut out her tongue. Unfortunate. Poor Anastasia. Now, let's switch back to our bandit's knife and target shield, because killing these Baldur Knights will probably be easier done via backstabs or parries. But we'll have to see. Actually, we'll see. A long elevator. Huh. How did you reset, and I do not have any Estus flasks? This seems like some sort of cheat. Or lie. Yes, cat. A lie. They are lying to me. Curiouser and curiouser. If I pet you, will you be quiet? Unfortunately, it appears not. Well, should level up. At this point, I am going to go farm. And what that means is that I will be cutting the video here until I manage to get everything we need, because I'm literally just going to just bump that up so I can use the as stock actually. I am going to turn on my television and watch TV while running the same run through this area over and over until I get the item I need. This is yet another thing that I think Bloodborne does better, because there are no such thing. You don't really need to farm anything anymore. There's a bit of it, but not any real amount, which greatly helps. At this point, I am going to eat all my humanity in a desperate attempt to increase my item discovery rate. God help us all. Welcome back. I have 9 humanity. I used 4, means I got 5 through killing people, which I think is the max you can get from drops on a level. I got the shield, I got the sword. The sword's at +5, the shield's at +3. I also leveled up a rapier to +5 in the the intervening time and used that to kill things until I got this sword. I've also got this armor. It took 2 hours. Yeah. Took a bit. Took a little bit. Cursor's in the way. Thank you, cursor. Yeah. I think that's enough for today. I'm slightly losing my damn mind. So, I will see you guys later. When I can think again.